Oh my god, I'm so excited for this video. Hi guys. Okay, so I have some piping hot tea that I just need to spill right now. Like, it's a little update, a little unexpected update in the PhD journey so far. If you're wondering where I am, I'm currently in Los Angeles. I've been flown out here to Los Angeles by the Diana Award team. Anyway, let's get into the tea of this video because I'm so excited to just have a chat with you. You guys know this, when I was at Oxford, I was writing essays, 2 essays a week, and I was loving it and I was doing well in it. Sometimes it wasn't so great, sometimes it was great, but by the end of the degree I walked out with a strong 2-1, enjoyed it, loved it, lived it. Then I went on to Harvard. I was writing essays again, writing all these essays. I was doing well, I was thriving, getting A grades, A pluses. On the odd occasion I get a B, but overall an average of A's, and it was great. Lived it, loved it. So now comes time to apply for my PhD. I knew I could write. And I love an essay and a personal statement. It's all like connected, isn't it? Like, a personal statement is an essay of your life, of your academic work, of like why you want to go on to study and whatever. So when I was writing that personal statement, guys, I can't tell you the confidence I had. And please, 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 if you read my Instagram captions or anything like that, don't take it too serious. I don't write that with the same effort and rigor that I would for an academic paper. When I wrote this essay and this personal statement for NYU, I was like, and I still stand by it, really good personal statement. So when I submitted it, I was really like hopeful. So when I got rejected, I was sad. I'm not saying that I just wanted a space because I wrote a good personal statement. No, because doing a PhD is more than that. It's about like what your research topic is. It's about your experience. It's about how much can you bring to this table. My heart was still hurt because I poured my soul into that personal statement. So when I got rejected, I asked for feedback. They wouldn't give the feedback. They were like, too many people to give feedback to, so we just do it because it's a high volume or whatever it is, and that's okay. Some places don't give you feedback, but it still bothered me because I wanted to know, was it my personal statement or was it my lack of experience? I would have just liked to know, because I think it's really good when you get rejected. It's good to know why, because then you can learn from it and grow from it. And I'm open to being rejected. I'm open to learning, but I need to know what I'm learning, because I'm still confident that that was a good personal statement. Do you see the problem? If I'm like, but I don't see what was wrong with the personal statement, it's going to be hard for me to grow and develop if I don't know what I did wrong. But sometimes things happen for a reason. I get it. You don't always need to know the reason, but I like to know the reason. I love to fail, but I want to know why I'm failing so I know how to improve. So, got no feedback, got no closure, if you may. Closed the chapter, moved on. I then went on to apply to Claremont University in Los Angeles. So when I did that, Claremont told me that I need to take a year out. You know the story. Take a year out because they do a cohort every 2 years. So I had this unexpected gap year that I didn't expect to take, right? And I'd already taken a gap year and I was taking another one. I call it a gap year, but it's just called a break. The United Nations thing came up. I'm a young leader at the United Nations, right? Like, so many amazing things happened after that rejection that I really, genuinely, my heart got healed and I moved on. So now fast forward, like what, a year later since I got rejected? Yeah, so I got rejected in March 2022. Now we're in April 2023 at the time of the story. I've now been flown out to New York by the United Nations because I had some work to do there. Come and give a speech on education access, equality. We're in this room. We're all like talking, we're sharing our views, bear in mind, this is nothing to do with NYU stuff. Like, this story is just about me at the UN, just doing my thing. So now they come around the room and I think we're talking about education financing. Tell me why. They've now gone around the room. It stops at a certain person who then introduces themselves. And they're like, hi, my name is blah, 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 and I work at NYU and blah, 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 blah. I look up because I'm hearing the name of someone that I've put in my personal statement. Like, when I was doing my personal statement for NYU, I said, I would love to be mentored or tutored or to do research with this professor. So now that exact professor is sitting in this room with me, right in front of me, and talking about their research and their work at NYU and what they do. And I'm recognizing it because it's exactly what I wanted to be doing at NYU with this professor. So like, my mind is like racing a million miles an hour because I'm thinking, whoa, the place that I got rejected from is like basically in this room, but not just the place, the exact person that I really wanted to work with in my research is right here. It was kind of a bittersweet moment. We're in New York. It all came back to me like, wow, that was once upon a time my dream. That's all I thought about. Nothing more, nothing less. I looked at the person, gave them a smile to be like, I love your work, and that's the end. Now we finished the event. Everyone's gone, everyone's left, and now there's like about 5 of us in the room. So anyway, I thought I need to say hi because I'm just a fan. Like, I'm a fan of your work. Like, as an educator, as a person who wants to be an educator, seeing your work, I'm a huge fan. So actually, let me just go and say hi. I'm walking over, and the person is like, hi V. I'm like, what do you mean hi V? How do you know me? They're like, obviously we've just been in the same room and I just heard about your work, and when you were speaking I recognized everything you were saying. I said, what do you mean? And the person was like, I read your personal statement when you applied for NYU. I'm like, whoa, what do you mean? And the person is like, yeah, like when you were just sharing your story of like the work you do, all that stuff. I was like, that sounds familiar. I looked up and I was like, oh my goodness, that is V right there. And I was like, okay, thank you. And I was like, oh, it just didn't work out. And they were like, we shouldn't do this to ourselves, but I just wanted to say that you got waitlisted. I was like, what? They were like, that's why like it took so long for us to let you know and to get back to you, because you got waitlisted. And I remember your personal statement because it was so good. I remember exactly what you said. I remember we kept going back and forth between the candidates and you kept coming back into our pile. We kept saying, we need to take this person. But you were just competing with other people who were just as good, and the people we chose, they just happened to be better. We only have like 2 or 3 slots a year for this fully funded PhD, especially in this specific thing you're applying for. So it's just very competitive. But you were waitlisted. You came back many times. We were all deliberating and it was torn, and it was just by a split decision of like 2 people, I think. 2 people voted for the other person versus like me, and they said it was by the split of a hair. And I'm like, I'm standing in this room hearing that I missed it by this much. Such a sad conversation, because they were looking at me like, and they were like, you know what, I still think about that, and I think we should have, but it was difficult. And then you know what they said? They said, would you be willing to consider reapplying? I was like, what do you mean? They're like, would you give it one more shot and reapply? Because I think if you reapply, I have a strong gut feeling. And I was like, I can't do that to myself. I cannot. I said, I can't do it to myself, because I'm happy now. Like, I'm happy with going to Claremont. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm happy with my plan. Everything's aligning. Everything makes sense. So don't throw the spanner in the works. I was like, thank you so much, but I'm gonna have to say no to that, because that's another year of reapplying to go through the system. And they were like, but V, if you reapplied. And I was like, we were just doing a lot of unspoken speaking, and my friend was in the room with me, and they were just watching this exchange going, is this real? Is this real? And I was going, is this real? Because when you have a dream, and for so long I thought maybe I just wasn't good enough, maybe I just didn't have enough experience, maybe I had so many reasonings, and maybe my personal statement wasn't as good as I thought it was. Maybe my personal statements are really good for bachelor's and master's, but for PhD it's not even on par. I didn't know how far away I was. I didn't know if I was even remotely close. I didn't even know if they even read it or even if they considered me. I had no clue. So to hear that, I'll be really honest with you, that was so empowering. I was over the moon. My friend was like, wouldn't that make you so sad to know that you were so close? I said, no, that's really good. That means I put up a good fight. That means like it was even considerable. Like, to me, that's a huge win, because it's like, oh, I actually was on the right path. Like, if I just maybe had a few more years of experience, if I maybe just had a more refined research paper, like, I was so close. And for me, that's so liberating. I don't know. Comment down below. Would you be happy if you were told that, or would that stress you out? It was the best day of my life. Hearing that, I was walking tall and proud. And even knowing the fact that if I'd reapplied, maybe it could have happened, but then choosing to still be committed to Claremont because I'm happy there now. I don't know. It was just so serendipitous. I was like, this is actually perfect. And then the person was like, please take my email so we can email and just talk, and it felt like a huge like regret moment, you know, but not in like a bad way of like I showed them. No, it was more of a wow, like hearing you speak about your work, hearing me speak about our work, we could have really done something special there. And I think it was a moment for us to both realize like, wow, that could have been really cool, but also it's okay that it's not happening. Went home, and then I got an email later from them, and it was just like another moment of apology, just being like, so sorry we didn't take you, we would have loved to, but we're just very short on space, so you know, that kind of thing. And then they connected me to some friends that they have in Claremont, so that, you know, I could, you know, get into the education and research space and be connected to other people. And then we just kind of said goodbye to each other. It was such a moment. I don't know, do you think this is tea? Because to me this is tea. Like, this is like piping hot tea in the education academic space. Like, ooh. And I'm really happy that happened, because it's put my mind at rest. Like, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. I could have gotten in and been an amazing experience, but I didn't get it. That's the essence of this, and now I know why. And that has really helped close the NYU chapter in discussion. Like, what are the chances that you're giving a speech at one of the UN agencies, the United Nations, you're giving recommendations about the Global Partnership for Education, and then the person in the room is the person you wrote about a year before for the exact program you got rejected for, and then they're telling you that they remember you because they remember how good. They said my personal statement was so good. They said that my personal statement was so good that they remembered it. It was memorable enough to them, and they see so many applications, but they said yours stood out. So I'm gonna take that. That's a big win. I'm so happy, and I'm so proud of everybody. Like, if you're out there going through applying for school or PhDs, it's not easy. You're putting your heart on your sleeve, and proud of you, proud of me. And I'm so happy to go to Claremont. I can't believe next month I'm gonna be a PhD student. Anyway, gotta go because I'm gonna talk. I can talk to you guys for hours, okay? But I need to go. So I love you. We'll speak to you soon, and see you in the next one. Bye.